Okay. Chaim.
Chaim.
Posting of HaKadosh Yahrtzeit, Yosef Sasson. Right, it's his Suda, Betzim. Right? Yosef Hashem kachem elef palmim v'yivarach Hashem kasher diber lachem. And that's so Chazal say, that Am Yisrael complained when Moshe Rabbeinu gave them that bracha. It said only elef palmim, You don't kitzvah tanoisen. It says zeh misheli, mikan ve'ach mishal Kodesh Baruch Hu. So what's the point? Right? So what's the point? Moshe Rabbeinu gives us his own bracha elef palmim, which davar sheyesh lo kitzvah. Al maval lama, if you have that, that Kodesh Baruch Hu v'yivarach Hashem kasher diber lachem, which has ein kitzvah. So what's the point of having the bracha of Moshe Rabbeinu sheyesh lo kitzvah? Right? The Parshas Dvorim is already a mina kadmon that this is always the parsha that we read before Tisha B'av. It's already brought in the Rambam Hilchos Tefillah when he goes through the Seder of the laying of the year. This is already he mentions it that Dvorim is la'olam. The parsha that we read before Tisha B'av. It's Parshas Chazon. So we have to understand what the kesher is, and of course it always comes out that the Baal Hilula, this was the parsha that was niftarin, Parshas Devorim. Right, so it'll be magniv something very interesting, that's in the Likutei Torah of the Ari in this week's parsha, that the Achar Yom Mechorev Derech HaSeir Ad Kadesh Barnea. So it was Moshe Rabbeinu is saying Sefer Dvarim, 11-day journey from Sinai, but it's called Chorev. Derech HaSeir Ad Kadesh Barnea. We're not going to read the lashon of the Arizal inside. But he says like this: how do you get the number 11? 11 is connected the shvira of the 7 kalim that broke, and kayedua, the Gimel Rishonos didn't have a shvira, but Chochma and Bina, their achorayim had a nefila, right? And we know the achorayim of Abba and Ima. We'll discuss this, so we'll simplify this just let's get the structure down, right? That the achorayim of Abba and Ima, they subdivide into. On the one hand, Yisrael Saba, right, and there's Chochma and Yisrael Saba, and then there's Bina and Tvuna. That's 4. So 7, 4. That's 11. 11 things that need tikkun. 11 things need tikkun, right? And that's derech. So that's derech har seir, derech har seir. Right, that kind of Golos Edom. Ela Melachim Asher Mochu Be'eretz Edom Lifnei Meloch Melech Bnei Yisrael, and it talks about Vayimlach Vayamos. That Kayadur, the Zohar says that all those things refer to all the midas that need tikkun, all the things that they died, right? So Derech Har Seir, right? Ad Kadesh Barnea, and why is it called Chorev? Because the Gemara says in Shabbos that that's called the Shemisham Yorda Chorban La'akum. And it's besod. It says, Lashon Ari in this week's parsha. Bone olamos umachrivan. You got to have a meltdown before you have a tikkun. So it's Achar Sayom mechorev, the chorban. That's the shvira, right? Achar Sayom, that the chorban caused that the 7 malachim died, and the 4, the 2 aspects of Chochma and Bina had a nefila. How 11, right? That ad kardesh barnea. Right, that's what it takes. That everything has to be reborn. That all the achichlu kon shamas shebaguf, right, and everything has to be born. Everything that fell in the klip has to be reborn ad kadesh, right, until it comes back to the kedusha, right. That's all marumas in the opening pasuk in this week's parsha, right. That that the whole Indian of the shvira and the tikkun, which is what Golos is all about. That the shvira, as it were, happened again by Chorban Abayis, and the whole tikkun that we're in, we're Baderech, Derech Har Seir, the Derech of Golos Edom, until we come back to our tikkun. So they said something very interesting that that over here in the Hemshech HaDvorim, right? He asked a question like this, right? We find that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was only mitzvah lo sechaya kol neshama by the Zion Amamin, and you find that throughout Chazal, Eretz Khan is called Eretz Shivasa Amamin, but it's not true. Right, the complete list includes another 3 amamin. There's the Keneni, the Kenizi, and the Kadmoni. Right, so it's not 7, it's 10. Right, and so he says like this: the Keneni, the Kenizi, and the Kadmoni. right, is Besod, Ammon, Moab. Who are these people? Ammon, Moab, and Seir. That in that door they were commanded, Al Tiskar Bam Milchama. Don't start up with them, which is amazing because these are the nations we hate the most, right? That if Ammoni and Moabi is loyal Bakal Hashem ad olam, and now that there's a special din doiraisa, another mitzvah, lo tidrosh shlomam v'tovasam kol yamecha lolam, that this, which Chazal learn out from that halacha in Hilchos Milchama, that would say v'karasa le'al l'shalom by a Milchama, right? That's not right, correct? Right, you need Rus and Nama Amonis, right? But the Ari is Mosif on that, right? So first of all, Lo Tir Shalom Tavasam, that the Krasal Shalom is only when you do Milchama against any other nation. Ammon Moab, there's no din with Krasal Shalom, right? Lo Tir Shalom Tavasam, you attack directly. There's no giving them no escape route, no. So and the din of Lo Sechaya Kol Neshama was said by Dafka by the Shivas Amamin, right? Which we hate less than Ammon, Moab, and Seir. Right? So that's a question that he contemplates in the Likutei Torah in this week's Parsha. And he says an amazing thing, right? That the Shiva Sa'amamin are connected to 7 midas, Kayadua, Chesed, Gvor, Tiferes, Netzachod, Yesod, and Malchus, the 7 that died and need the biggest tikkun. He says, but because they're so broken, right, all the Kedusha left them already. He says these 3, the Keni, Knize, and the Kadmoni, which are connected Ammon and Moab and Edom, right?
They weren't in Eretz Yisrael. Why should you kill them? They weren't in.
There's and elsewhere in other psukim, in these code names, right? In these code names, Keni, right? So, right. So these nations are mentioned, right? Right. So now So he says an amazing thing. He says because these 3 nations are mamish connected, in Tumah, connected to Gimel Rishonos, right? They're not midas, they're mochin, as it were. They're the evil counterpart of Chochmah, Bina, and Das, right? And the kedusha has, so we weren't commanding lo sachaya kol neshama on them. For some reason, the Tzvi said that al pi pshat, right? Because we had to get Rus from Moab, and we had to get the Nama moments from Ammon, right? So he says these things these midas these amim are connected to moichin, right? That the final war against them is in Achris Hayomim, right? And he says, right, the Moav, so he says Me'avi, right? That's Chochmah, Abba, right? Ammon is Osios Noam. That's another kinui for Bina, right? And then there's the Kadmoni, that Veitzeh Rishon Admoni, right? Seir. Right, the mamish connected, right? The 3 midas that are connected, moichin, right? The intellect, right? And that battle is reserved for Lasid Lavo, right? And at that time, by Yom Ahu, there'll be a din of Lo Sechaya Kol Neshama, but not in the times of Moshe Rabbeinu, right? At that time, we had to leave them intact, But at that, the Muhammad that we have against them is Lasid Lavo, right? And to understand all that and what this has to do, with with the Bein HaMetzarim, particularly the Shvur Shechalbo, right, and particularly Yameinu Mamish. So, we said, that the Parshas Devarim, always, is always ushers in, it's always the Shvur, the Parsha Shvur Shechalbo Tisha B'av. Right, Tisha B'av is Moshe Rabbeinu's fault. The whole thing is Moshe Rabbeinu's fault. Shlach l'cha anoshim, right? So Rashi brings the Chazal right there. Shlach l'cha, right? It's your choice. L'datcha. And then Moshe warns him. Ani noten makom litos, right? And Moshe Rabbeinu did it anyway. What was he thinking?
Responsible. It wasn't his fault.
What?
He was responsible for it, but it wasn't his fault.
It was, as the mainstream fake news say, it was his rhetoric, right? Right? What was he thinking, right? And Hiroshim warns him. Shlach lecha l'datcha and v'chayecha dinoten mokem litos, and he took the challenge anyway, right? But the whole thing is his fault, right? Yeah, right. We're holding right now, in the whole mitzvah, because atem b'chisem b'chia shechinam, and ikvalchem b'chia l'doros, and that was all Moshe Rabbeinu was doing. What did he want, right? What was he thinking?
What was to be gained from it?
Right.
He has to say koyo shiach hameyatzos maraglim.
Right.
So he understood
So you knew.
his problems.
He knew that.
No, Reb Oshem warned him. In the Lashon Chazal that Rashi quotes, Reb Oshem warned him about the challenge. And he took the challenge anyway. Right? So, they're just saying that, so we have to understand what he was thinking. They thought it was kedai. Because this is what gave us the whole 3 weeks. Yeah. So, we'll be magdim, so by the actual chet, that was the final divider. Now this was always looming, right? Because Eldad and Medad already had the nevuah, right? Moshe Mesu, Yoshua Machnisa, that's why Yoshua said, only Moshe Kloim, right? This was already, out there, right? That Moshe Rabbeinu, would not be the one to be machnis, right? Already in Mitzrayim, Moshiach shel Yisrael loke b'mayim, right? And that's why kol ben yilad yor tashlichu, right? Right. So this challenge was there, but the final divide that made it muchrach was what he had, that HaKadosh says v'dibartem el hasela, and Moshe Rabbeinu hit it anyway, right? So Yan lohem mantem bi lakdishen le'Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't believe in God.
No. He saw God face to face.
Very good. So no, he's right. He's right. Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't believe in God. Moshe doesn't believe in God. I'll say it again. Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't believe in God. Right? Right? He knows there's a God. Right? Someone who says, Medabra HaKadosh Baruch Hu upon him, the term emuna does not come into play. Right? It doesn't. It's totally non-applicable because you only need emuna when you have to trust someone. You have to trust someone when something is not in front of you. You need, as it were, smichus das to support the das, which is that's halachic term for emuna. Now you need smichus das, when you're not sure, but if you see all the stuff, in front of you, right, you don't need emuna. Right, the Sfas Emes says it right there on that puzzle. Right, and it's davar nachonu. Right, it's not. It's a self-evident truth. So here's the amazing thing, that the Gemara says in Shabbos Daf Lamed Aleph, the Gemara Vayomar is Techa Chosi Shuos Chachma Das Chosi Shuos Chachma Das Yoshem Yitzaro. The Darsh said on the Shisha Sidrei Mishnah, Emunas Ze Seder Zroim. Right. Seder Zroim, which is mitzvahs like Fluyus Ba'aretz. Right, that's emuna. Right? Tosas over there, brings the Yerushalmi, Mamin B'Chelam V'Zorea. You have to have faith when you plant, right? That when you put in the, it's going to come back at least. You shouldn't have a loss. The Kol Shkev come back. It should come back tenfold with the profit, right? But here's the amazing thing. Before we say another gang in that Gemara, Hare. So Moshe. So it says V'Nasata Mehot Cholav Mehotcha. V'lo kol hodcha, says Gemara Basra. Sekenim Shavuos Torah Yomrum Pnei Moshe Pnei Chama Pnei Yeshua Pnei Levana. So as a Mora Goro lememshelas Hayom, as a Mora Cotton lememshelas Balayla, ve'munascha baleilos. So Yoshua, who's connected Levana, that's Moshe by night, ve'munascha baleilos, and that's why Yoshua machnisam la'aretz, because emunah zeh seder zroim, right? But to explain better, what this means, right? It says, I'll repeat the Gemara, what the Gemara says in Avodah Daf Nun Daled, that Haya bin min hadin, that if you sell, a person steals a saw chitim, right, and he plants it, it shouldn't grow. It shouldn't grow. Well, why should cheaters prosper, right? By it does grow. Ela oilam keminhago noheg, v'osam shekilkulu asidin li tenis hadin. Right? The Rosh is not going to interfere with the conduct of the world. And it's going to grow like regular. And in the short range, he's going to make a profit. Right? In the long range, Asin Literes Adin. I mean, Midei Dabri Bos, there's a story they say about the Chafetz Chaim. There was an Erev Shabbos, and it was getting close to Hadlakas Neros, and he's watching a guy being evicted from his house because the bank foreclosed on his house, and it's getting close to Hadlakas Neros, and he's watching, and he told me, Rebbe, it's almost time. I got to see this. Last time a guy being evicted from his home is. They say, they saw he's not budging. He said, what's so important? It's almost Shabbos. You got to watch a guy being evicted from his home. He says, I'm being zocher to something most people aren't zocher to, right? That's 30 years ago, right? That guy, he owned that house also 30 years ago. And he rented out to a Jewish almana and Yesomim. And it was an Erev Shabbos just like now. And they were delinquent in the rent, right? And he put them out on the street at a time like this, 30 years ago. And I wanted to know, when will I be zocher to see, din being done in the Rishoyim? I'm seeing payback now. I'm not missing this. Right? It was over. But even a guy like Chafetz Chaim was still 30 years later. Right? And I consider that a big schus that he's being zocher to see divine justice. 30, he didn't want to miss the show. Right? But that's it, we have to believe. That's emunas. Because, that's nogba minag derech eretz, right? And that's saying of Eretz Yisrael. In the midbar, where everything was ba'ashgacha pratis, benigla. You got the mon from heaven. And if you were chote, you saw it, not only you saw it, everyone saw it, because the mon fell further away from your house. V'yotzam v'loktu. Right, Chazal say, the tzaddikim, they didn't have to be yotzeh v'loktu. That's v'shotu v'loktu. Right, the shoitim, those who deviated, they had to go out. Right, you got they call it karma. Right, you got immediate payback on the spot. Right, the next morning. Right, people saw if you did a chet the night before. Right, you saw the next morning how far you had to go to get your mon. Right. Right, and everything was that way. Everything was immediate payback, right? In Eretz Yisrael, it's going to be noig minhag derech eretz, right? Where the land acts stupid, right? Without das, right? That it's not mavchin ben tzadik l'rosha, right? It'll grow equally for someone who is planting b'yosher and someone who's planting b'gneva mamish. The land will grow for them equally, right? And that's the midah of Oretz, which is midah of Malchus. That the Gemara, that the Zohar says, Lesla Einin, it has no eyes. It doesn't see what it's doing. It's like blind, deaf, and dumb, and it'll grow for everyone equally, right? So you don't see Ma ben Rasha, Ma ben Oved Okim La'asher Lo Avodo. Right, and that's where you need emunah. That's why emunah says Seder Zroim, that you're going to go into olam keminhago noheg, right, where it seems that chas v'shalom, it's interesting that the other example that Gemara gives, that hayam min adin, that a person's baal ever shouldn't be molid, and we see that they are, right, and both are called derech eretz, right? These two, derech eretz computer, and then like derech eretz, like Torah's nickname is b'miut derech eretz, right? And he's derech eretz, because the oretz, the midah called oretz, right, is it's a dead machine, right? That'll service the tzaddik and Rasha equally, right? As what's it missing? It's missing das, right? The tikkun agoro, right, will be makatzer, right? But the big
mess up in Eretz Yisrael, you can keep that.
What?
You
Yeah, but after 400 some odd years, not now it was 400. It was 400 of the base of Mikdash. It was like 1,000 years there in the base, roughly, before they got, right. So you see, a seeded, right, and that's what you need emuna for. Emuna for is long range. We don't have cash up front. That's what you need emuna, right. When it's up front, you don't need the emuna muscle for what? For a purpose. Alma v'alama. Moshe Rabbeinu and the whole hanhoga of the midbar was one. It's called the dor dea. You saw right up front, and you saw cause and effect on the spot. Right? You did not need any type of emun. It just didn't complain. That's why it's called the dor dea. Right. And Agav, elsewhere the Ari writes.
So wherever that is on Oretz.
What?
So without Deus on Oretz.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Am ha'aretz. Am ha'aretz. Right. Right. Am ha'aretz. That's why Chazal told a person has no doubt. They call it am ha'aretz, like the Oretz. Right. A dead machine. Right. That will service the tzaddik in Russia equally. Right. Amazing thing. So the interesting. I just saw today also in Kisvei Ari, right? So that we mamash learned the lachrona in our chabura, right? That Moshe is called Ish Elokim. So the darshan mechetzio v'lamala Elokim, mechetzio v'lamata Ish, right? So the Ari darshans that Alpi is Yesod. That Yesod the bina comes up to the chetzi, up to the chazeh, right? So which Kayadua, the bina is called elokus, relative to the lower midas, right? So so up to the chazeh, right, is because Kayadua, right, that bina is nispashet within zer up to the chazeh. So up to that half point is elokim, right? And from there and lamata is ish, because Yesod the bina ends there. But what do we learn? That the das, because Yesod the Bina doesn't confine the das more, the das is nispasha from that point onwards. That's why his door is called Dor Dea. Right? Now those that were under his Hanoga, Dor Dea, because from that half point onwards, it's called Ish, the door that follows him, gets exposed to das. That's the whole meat of Moshe Rabbeinu was das. Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't need emuna because everything is bas galia. What do you need? Ve'emunascha baleos. What do you have to take on trust? When you see, the anon and you see the mun, right? Everything is, totally, begilui gomor. Right? It's really to take on faith, right? And in Eretz, so they're going to go into the mahalach where you have to start taking things on faith because things are going to be b'derech hateva, and you have to believe that osam shekilku asidin litain asadin in the future. You got to invest that emuna, right? But the tikkun hasholem is umola haaretz dea es Hashem kamayim layam machasim, right? The tikkun hasholem, because that's what's wrong with the world. What's wrong with the midah of oretz, right, is that it's lacking das, right? That lefi shah, you can have such a thing called rasha v'hashah misachekes lo, right? That's what's wrong with the world. That the world needs emuna. That in the end everything will work out. Because you have Rosh, the Lefisha, Rosh Hasha, Rasha Shahasha Mesachekes Lo. That's what's wrong with the world, right? And Losilo Mola Arts Deas Hashem, Ledeas Hashem, right? So now with this you can understand, Avram Avinu, right? So we know that the first Golos of Golos Mitzrayim was present because it said Bama Eda Ki Roshena. Avram doesn't take things on faith. Just a few psukim earlier, HaKadosh promised him to have a kid, right? Even though he saw Beit Stagninus Shalo, that he's in Akara and Sarah is in Akara, right? So he said, Ve'emin b'Hashem, ve'achshevel lo tzedakah, right? And he has a big emuna. HaKadosh will consider ve'achshevel tzedakah. HaKadosh will consider big schos on Avram's part. They had that emuna. And then a few psukim later, Hashem Elokim b'ma eda ki roshena. Right, and that's it. Okay, then now goes Mitzrayim. Oh, wow. V'ma eda ki roshena Eretz Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu, Avram Avinu, then subsequently Moshe Rabbeinu is about to explain. Avram Avinu wanted, Eretz Yisrael. I don't want it be'emuna. I have no problem with emuna, right? But the whole point of the ultimate tikkun that's supposed to come from Eretz Yisrael, and Eretz Yisrael Bechlal and the Makom HaMikdash Befrat. The Chazal say about this, Gadol Dea Shitna B'Shnei Oisius, Gadol HaMikdash, Paut Hashem, Mikdash Hashem Konu Yadecha, and Kol Mishesh Bo Das, Kil Livna Beis HaMikdash B'Yomav, right? Eretz Yisrael Bechlal and the Beis HaMikdash Befrat is called the Makom of Das. Right? Leman Das Kol HaMei Aretz, Ki Hashem Elokim. Right, the special school of Eretz Yisrael, more than Chutz La'aretz, right, is that Eretz Yisrael is supposed to be the place where it's not going to be, eventually, it's not going to be Be'emunah, it's going to be Bedas. When you go to Eretz Yisrael and Bechlal, and you go to the Makom Mikdash Befrat, you know there's a God. When you see the Shechina Bas Galia, right, and that's also Mala Aretz Dea Es Hashem, Mala Aretz Dea Es Hashem, Daika, right? That that lost level, it's going to be. If you have Shatris and Ben Tzadik l'Rasha, Ben Ovel Kim Lasher Lo Avodo, the world's not going to service the Rishonim anymore. Lost level. The world's not going to even facilitate their existence. The world's not going to tolerate them on earth. Right? Avraham Avinu wanted to know Bama Eda Ki Roshana. I don't want Eretz Yisrael. I have no problem with having Emunah, like in something like that. I'm sterile, but I have a kid anyway. I want Eretz Yisrael Bedas. Right? Bedas means that will be the Tikkun HaSholem, that I know that we're going to stay in Eretz Yisrael and not move from there, because that is the hub, right? To be Megala to the whole world, that Hashem Elokim, right? Ve'enot. Right? And that's the way I want Eretz Yisrael. I want it Bedas, not Be'emunah. Right? And HaKadosh tells him, no, it's a long journey, right? Initially, it's going to be be'emunah, and that's why there's going to be golus, right? We're going to be tested in our emunah. You can't have it, you have to build the emunah muscle first before you're zocha to das, right? And that's the golius, that's what it is. So right, emunah I meant to mention. I come on till I give you that. Yeah, I meant to say that. Right? Verastachli be'emuna v'yadat et Hashem. Right? It's erusin and nesuin. It's a process. Erusin verastachli be'emuna, like erusin, that she's still asura lebala, kala blo bracha asura kanida, right? But then v'yadat, and then there's the intimacy. But it has to come, duch emuna first, and then das. And as a yan lohem mantem bilak disheni. Moshe Rabbeinu, you don't have programming to deal with a situation of emuna. You only know das. You only know das, right? Right. So and that's it. It also has to be first emuna and then das, and that's what Avram also wanted to jump stages, right? B'mo eda ki roshena. Right. I don't want emuna. I want the tikkun hasholem, where Eretz Yisrael is a kli to hold das, that in Eretz Yisrael lost its level. A Russia, someone who will try to plant stolen crops, stolen seed, it won't grow. And that's
The Medrash when the Shabbos is going to pluck off a ta'ina from a tree, it's going to say Shabbos.
Right. Yeah, very good. Excellent. I meant to say that. But not only that, the Rambam says, Davar Nifla mode. The Rambam in the Igeres Taimon says as follows. Rambam Shita. So, all right, a lot of things that says in the Navi are all, they're all mashal. It's not computer of the gar, zev, and keves, But he says ve'efshar, that in Har Habayis it'll be kipshuto. Shenemar lo yareu v'lo yashchisu b'chol har kochi ki molar says Shem b'chol har kochi. There's a Rambam is willing to be moida that even though gar zev and keves is moshel, generally speaking, but in Har Habayis, right, the Makam HaMikdash, it will be literal.
What will be literal?
The gar zev im keves. Shenemar v'lo yareu v'lo yashchisu b'chol har kochi. And the Radvaz is masker this in his Pirush on Hilchos Mochim, and he says it's al pisod, it's correct what the Rambam said. Uborach yodea emes, right? That's Radvaz writes that, right? That is, so even if in the Olam Bichlaluso, right, it's going to be b'mashal, right? But in Eretz Yisrael Bichlal and Har Habayis Befrat, the Komish Nivna Beis Hamikdash, Komish Mo Das Kil Nivna Beis Hamikdash. Over there, it's going to be Kapshuta. And Rambam's open that possibility. It's going to be the Gilui of Das, right? That Gilui Das, that even injustice lefi shah won't be tolerated. Won't be it'll be tolerated. Then in the end, we'll cheshbon out. But even at the moment, even temporarily. Right? Everything's going to be bedas. Injustice is not tolerated at all, not even in the short term. Right?
What's the name of that marshal?
Not so bad, as far as that being the world, minimalizing strife. Right?
It's called over the humans, right?
Yeah, right. They minimalize it. Right. So the so that's what Moshe Rabbeinu wanted. So now it's very meduk, the lashon of Chazal Rashi, shlach lecha lida'atcha, that the attempt of what Moshe Rabbeinu felt is kedai, the gamble that he took, right? Like lida'atcha, that the Meraglim project was to try to bridge his das and graft it onto Eretz Yisrael, right? That was L'datcha. They were called his shluchim, right? There was a shluchah shodom kamoso, right? Because the shliach has to do al das the mishalech, al das the mishalech, right? That was what he was attempting to do, right? He was attempting to merge, right, his midah of das with the midah of Eretz Yisrael, right? So it's a davar nifla mode, that the Gemara says in Baba Kama, v'shilach zu regel, right? So the Achronim explain that because you were pasha b'shmira, you didn't even do a shmira pchusa, it's as if you sent it, right? It's as if you sent it. That's why you're chayiv. That's why v'shilach zu regel, you didn't even do a shmira pchusa, right? V'shilach zu regel, right? So it's that shlach lecha anoshim, send it, but he wants to send anoshim, not behemoths, right? Not behemoths, right? That they should be anoshim, and at the time they sent them, they were ksherim hayu, right? Right? That they should, right? Then what's after they were yored from their madrega, and they're called miraglim, miloshen regel, and that's it. V'shilach zu regel, right? They became miraglim, right? Because they weren't nimshach achar das Moshe Rabbeinu, right? And it's called chayiv ben ezekin, right? There's a meraglim, but also meraglim, but without regel is without das, right? That's why the Sforim say hergel lashon regel. What you do without das, right? They weren't able.
Mechuber to the Aretz.
Right, mechuber, excellent, right? Mechuber to the Yahrtzeit, right? Right, they weren't able to be nimshach after a shlichus, right? Right, that is the tikkun that Eretz Yisrael is mesugel for. Eretz Yisrael bechlau and the Makom HaMikdash befrat, right? What? Aliyah l'regel. That's right. Aliyah, correct. Aliyah l'regel, right? To raise the raglayim, right? Right?
Yeah.
You have to elevate it, not to be meraglim. Right. To be mamshich, right. To be mamshich, the chokhmah, right. Yud Ak Yaakov, the chokhmah down to the akev, right. Down to, we have to elevate, because olam kaminhago noheg. That's hergel, right? Routine, right. And which were routine services, tzaddik v'rasha equally, because without das, right. And we have to reach Umalar's das, Dea es Hashem, and that's the makam of the mikdash. So now this is this. Now only Eretz Yisrael is mesugel for this Eretz Yisrael bechlau, right? And the makam mikdash befrat, right? That and this is the side, right? This is the side of what Chazal say. First of all, in the makam mikdash, omdim tzvufim umishtachavim ravachim, right? And perpetually ha'oron eino min hamida, right? There's amazing thing. There's extra space there that mathematically we can't account for, right? But even outside of Yerushalayim, Tur Malka. So Tur Malka. So the Krachim Kiyotze Mitzrayim. If you do the cheshbon, the number is astronomical. The amount and the space that was there, the amount of inhabitants. So what the Amoraim says, I visited the place. You can't even put 600,000 reeds there. Right? So it's called Eretz Hasvi, Bisman Sheshvei Aleh, right? Mishtachrim Ruvachim, right? So it happens in concentric circles, So in Tur Malka when Yoshvei Aleh, and in the Korshak, in the Azara, Omdin Tzufim Mishtachrim Ruvachim, right? And in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, perpetually Ha'oron Eino Min Hamida, right? There's extra space there. Right? So so Rav Isaac Chover explains, I'll pee what the Gemara says, what the pasuk says, Alma of the Aretz, right? Alma al Azum is Torasi. No one can be farsh Torah. Al Azum is Torasi. So it says Rav Isaac Chover, the special Zgula of Eretz Yisrael is that the truths of the Torah are actually revealed there, and that's the secret of the extra pockets of space opens up over there. from in the Sefer Ora Chochma, which is from one of the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov, in Parshas Re'eh, he says amazing. That's why Chazal divide up the globe into Oretz and Chutz La'aretz. To them, the globe is just two places, Oretz and Chutz La'aretz. Right? And it says Chutz La'aretz miloshen Chetzi, because all the extra pockets of space that open up in Eretz Yisrael don't open up in Chutz La'aretz. Right? So it's only Chetzi. Half of the dimensions, right? Half of the dimensions, the spiritual dimensions aren't this gal over there. It's only half the land. Half the land. Eretz Yisrael is a whole land that, that over there, it's an amazing thing that there's the extra pockets of space is das that gets grafted on as a special skula to be makabel, the truths of Torah, not just as stam ideas. It becomes manifest there, and it actually takes up space. And that's why Bizman Shel it's more expansive. Besoid, as the Revised Cover explains, because Klal Yisrael holds the Torah Sheba'al Peh. So that's why just Stam Bichlal, because it's Bizman Shel because of Mitzad, that they're the Kli Kibbutz of Torah Sheba'al Peh, that opens up space. Right, and then there's in the Makom HaMikdash even more because of their shibud to the Shechina, right? That truth opens up space. There's added space. That's the das that gets grafted on, right? And Eretz Yisrael is what's misugel for that. Chutz La'aretz doesn't have that school. That's why it's called Chutz Miloshen Chetzi. It's only half the earth, right? Because the added dimensions that you get mitzad hadas, the harchavas hadas, Miloshen harchavas hadas, and that becomes harchavas hakarka in Eretz Yisrael. You don't have harchavas hadas in Chutz La'aretz. Okay, you don't have harchavas hakarka, right? Right. So now in Sefer Dvorim, right? That Ela Dvorim Asher Diber Moshe. The Medrash opens up and says, right, that the Moshe Rabbeinu says Lo Ish Dvorim Anochi. And that was the Ela Dvorim Asher Diber Moshe. The whole thing is a monologue that took 6 weeks to say over. From Rosh Chodesh Shvat until Zayin Adar, everyone's talking plenty, right? So says the Medrash Mar Peloshen Eitz Chaim. Right? Mishezocha l'Torah nisrape l'shoinoi v'nase ish devarim. Right? The Torah heals the tongue, and for the time they was zocha l'Torah, right? He internalized the Torah. He is healed. He's not a kvad peh v'kvad loshen anymore. Now he's an ish devarim. So davar niflamod. That's also written in Kisvei Ari. That which Moshe Rabbeinu is kvad peh v'kvad loshen, right? He reflects the matzav of Klal Yisrael. Right, that Shechina Medaberes Toch Grono, but he's the conduit to bring it to us, right? And how much can we be makabel? Right, it comes out bekovid, comes out slow, comes out hard, right? And the chisor's mitzad us that because we can't be makabel so much, and that with this you could understand the dibartem el hasela, right? The final kind of point. Talk to the stone, and if you would have passed that nisayon, right? It's called that the channels to open up from das to us, right? The channel of hadeya v'hadibur. L'chayil lovim that dibur is connected das, right? It would have opened up the channel and totally, and he who's his midas das could have come with us into Eretz Yisrael, right? But he got frustrated and he hit, right? That's the nonverbal communication. When you because kol hakoes, right? Im navihu nevuasu mistakas, im chachamhu chachmasu mistalekas, and that's where you start hitting. It's when you lose it, right? There's silu kadas, and in silu kadas, emuna is supposed to take over. Right? And that's yan loy manten bi, right? When you had silu kadas, you couldn't cope with the situation. It's called a chisaron in emuna. Right, but if he could have, if v'dibartem alasela, right, so then he could have gone into Eretz Yisrael with us, right, and that would have been the open channel to combine the das and the emuna. Now we need emuna as the base, right, and then on top of that the komashnia is das, right. So now, so to understand, let's take a brief detour, right. That by Milchemes Amalek, right? That Moshe Rabbeinu, Vayu Yodav Emuna Abo Shemesh, and Chazal say V'chirav Moshe also Alomach Shkol Zman Shol Mistabim So the Torah calls it V'yu Yadav Emuna Abo Hashemesh. Right? And that was by their milchama with Amalek. Right? Where's Amalek? His shorish. The shorish of Amalek is in the Chet Eitz Adas. Hamin Ratormi 9, Hamin Ha'etz. Right? That's where the Das got corrupted. Das got corrupted. Right? That we don't see, as the Rambam explains the second parak of the Gemara, we don't see absolute truth. Right? And it's all in relativistic terms of Tov and Ra, and that's the shorish of Amalek that gives us Sveikus. Right? You could argue this way, you could argue that way. You see good points to both sides of the issue. You don't see objective truth. Right? And the only way to overcome that, there's you either have the Das of the Emes, right? And that's the meat of Moshe Rabbeinu. So Hamon min haTorah minayin, Hamin ha'etz, the Mon was B'schus who? B'schus Moshe, Chazal say, the Mon. Right? Hamon, the Mon, was B'schus Moshe. That was the Apostle say, V'achilcha Samon asher lo yadata, lo yadun avosecha. You guys didn't appreciate the Mon because you don't have the meat of Das, B'shleimus. Right? The Mon, that Moshe Rabbeinu was Mamshech, is a countermeasure to Haman, that Haman min haTorah minayin, Hamin ha'etz, because Moshe Rabbeinu gives us Das Torah, the Das of the Eitz HaChaim, right? As a countermeasure to the Das of Tov Ra that Amalek comes from, right? But there's another way, there's another countermeasure, if you're not Zocher to Das Torah, that's Emunah, right? So you have Sveikus. How do you cope with Sveikus? Well, you keep the faith. And that's V'yu Yadav Emunah B'Hashemesh, that's put the hands above the head. Situations over your head, right? So you function, Lamala, right? Right. The question is like this: are Das and Emunah, two opposites? The Chassid Yahrtzeit, right, says, right, in his, he lived through the Inquisition and the expulsion from Spain. That also happened, Agav, on Tisha B'Av. The Chassid Yahrtzeit. The Chassid Yahrtzeit is a Rishon. Chassid Yahrtzeit, different Yahrtzeit, right? Right. The Chassid Yahrtzeit lived through the Girush Sfarad. And he's made over there in his testimony of what happened, that he said that the big intellectuals, hemiru kvoidam, right? They did not keep the faith. And dafka, the pshutim, were the ones who were willing to die al kiddush Hashem, right? Or take the girush. And even amongst the pshutim, the noshim even more than the anoshim. That anoshim asfaradiot, he said that the Spanish women, they if the husband said, it's a little bit of water, it's nothing. A little bit of water on the head, maza. Right? And they took their husbands to die al Kiddush Hashem. And he saw that all those that engaged in philosophy, the more sophisticated they were, the more that they didn't keep the faith. And from there, and then from there he came to the idea, right, that philosophy is bad. Right? Das doesn't do it. It ruins the Emunah. But elsewhere, like listen to this, in the Sefer Mareches Elokus, a Kabbalah Sefer from one of the Rishonim, right? So there's the Chayat, Pirush HaChayat, right? That explains that Sefer. And he writes in his Hakdama that the Chassid Yahrtzeit pushed him to write this Pirush. The Chassid Yahrtzeit pushed him, right? Because Das, that which Das and Emunah go head to head, that's the Das that comes from the Eitz HaDas Tov Ra, right? That you're building on speculation, right? And and that type of Das is a stira to Emunah. That the more you have Das that comes from Das Tov Ra, from the Eitz HaDas, that type of Das is stira. But Das Torah that comes from a Makom Tahor, the being intellectual and having commitment is not a stira. So if it comes from the Das of the Eitz HaDas Tov Ra, or if it comes from the Das of Das Torah, right? And that's the mile of Chochmas HaKabbalah. That is the mile of Chochmas HaKabbalah. That this Das is not a stira to Emunah. Right, that the more that this Das, that this with this, we're going full circle, okay, guys. Right, wake up for the end. Right, we're going full circle now. Right, this Das, this Das which is Das Moshe, right, this Das which is Chochmas HaKabbalah, that explains, we have a concrete philosophy that explains how HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is emes, and the Torah is emes, and everything was created mikoach the Torah. And even the Ra that seems to be a setback, it's not chas v'shalom shtei reshuyos haim, right? But everything is in the service of the Tov, right? This Chochma Nifla that explains all these things, right? Shebazeh toli gulasenu pedus nafshenu. Right, that's what it says in the Zohar. But then that's in the Ilan dechai di'iu sefer Azor ubei yifkun min gelusa berachamin. Right, then this is totally agol because we're going to eat from the sefer Azor, which is from the Eitz HaChaim, not from the sitra of Eitz Hadas Tovara. Right, and that's what it says elsewhere in the Zohar that that halacha is from the sitra of Eitz Hadas Tovara, because what's halacha? Good versus evil, right? Zakai, potter. Chayiv, potter, right? Tameh, tahar, right? No, that's talking about tov versus ra. That's all for the it's a countermeasure for the Eitz Hadas tov ra. Whereas the Kabbalah is from the sitra of Eitz HaChaim, explaining how everything is in the service of the tov, right? And that's the sod. Miyom shenechrava beis mikdashenu ein la karshku ba'olamo daika elodal amis shel halacha bilvad. All God has left in this world is only halacha. Right, because the gilui of Sisrei Torah, right, that Sisrei Torah teaches us that everything is latayv, everything is chozer latov, everything is in the service of good, everything is mikoach the Torah, and there's no shtei reshuyas, right? HaKadosh doesn't have that miyom shenechra beis mikdashenu. We only have the struggle between the chayiv and the potter, the tameh and the tahar, right? The dal amashachva is all that we have left. Begilui, HaKadosh ba'olamo is dal amashalacha bilvad. And that's saying that that our gula is totally in the gili of this chachma nifla azu, right? That was nisgal idei sefer Zohar, that was nisparish idei the bari lula, and that's what Moshe Rabbeinu wanted. Avraham Avinu first, but Ma'eda. After that, Moshe Rabbeinu they wanted to jump the gun, right, and graft the gilui of das Torah. That's nisparish this chachma grafted onto the midah of oretz. That's the hanhaga of teva. That we have to take on faith that it's all going to be latov. Voso shekuklu asidin liten esadin. They wanted to graft it ahead of time. They wanted to jump the gun. Right? It wasn't time yet. Right? And that was the story. But in the long run, derech ha'seir. Right? In the long run, derech ha'seir. Right? These going through these 11 the 11-day journey. That 11 days is a metaphor of taking. First conquering the midas, going back full circle to the words of the Bari Lula, right? Conquering first the 7 midas, right? That all the wars until now, Dok v'Tishkach, was all about bad midas. One Malchus wanted more land, greed, or wanted to be imperialistic, and everything was bad. The whole World War I was one big dysfunctional family. They were all related. The Kaiser and the people in Russia, and all bad midas. All wars until now were all out bad midas, right? And that's what the Ari said. That we fixed already, right? The bad midas, that we were machnia, right? But the big war of the last 3 is culture
like
kampf. What?
Doesn't feel like it's fixed.
Right. Right. But the next world war is going to be purely ideological. It's going to be something that's going to be more devastating than everything we know, because it's going to cross through. It's going to be ish ba'achiv. Right, it's going to cut through. It's not going to be even distinct nations. It's going to cut through every single nation. It's going to be a battle left versus right. What? What?
Where do you see this?
What?
7 minutes or 7 seconds, I don't know.
No, there's a medrash that that the loss of the final world war is only going to be 3 hours long, as we say Hoshana Shalosh Shos.
Yeah.
Right? So Hoshana, that's rumors in Hoshanas. Hoshana Shalosh Shos. Right? The last war is going to be 3 hours long, right? I always say it's around yeah.
Where?
I have the fire for you. That's what?
And harvest Maya.
What?
First you have to go to so then later on get on this one.
Right. No, that's what the Bari Lewis says. That the Kani, the Knizi, and the Kadmoni, connected the Moichet. The final war.
That we get later.
Right.
Right.
Right. And he says also the Zamzumim, the other nations, Milshin, Kasher, Zamam. It's all, the last war is the last war is going to be a pure culture. It's going to be al basis, a culture camp. It's going to be ideological. Beforehand, it was all, I want more territory, I want more this, I want more that. It's all bad meters.
Bad idea.
What?
Be a bad idea.
Right. Right. And that's why the countermeasure is this chokhmah, right? that it's going to be a milchama of deus, and the real das is what stands as a countermeasure, right? Right.
Where's that put us?
Right. So now, and that's the pshat. Moshe Rabbeinu's final gift to Am Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu's final gift, Ela Dvar Asher Diber Moshe, that even though he failed by the rock, V'dibartem El Asela, he failed that test, but Rebbe Baruch Hu gave him a chance to give us something. Ela Hadvarim Asher Diber Moshe, that Moshe Rabbeinu was already already put into Kalim. Mishazocha Torah, put into Kalim, put in his das, something that Am Yisrael could take with them into Eretz Yisrael. That's El Dvar Shadira, his midah, and that's the story. He wanted to give his own bracha, because his own bracha gets internalized into Knesset Yisrael, right? Elef Palmim, Besod Elef Pella Elyon, that reaches already. This is called that it's Aleph Bina, Aleph Beis, Aleph Bina, Elef Palmim. Right, his bracha gets internalized. That even though he failed v'dibartem el asela be'el dvar asher diber Moshe, right? And this is what he wanted. Right, he wanted that yesh chadam kazer atanosein Torah yodi. He thought that Rabbi Akiva could help internalize the das more than him. Right, and that's the side that he found kshorim between Halacha Moshe Sinai and the Kotzim. That the internalization to connect the Dvarim HaPorchim Ba'avir with the solid text on earth. That's why he wanted Rabbi Akiva to be the Nosein HaTorah, because he wanted the Torah to be internalized. Put the das into Kalim, put the das into the Midah called arts. He thought Rabbi Akiva could do a better job than him. Rabbi Baruch said, "Shtok kachal fanav b'machshava." But Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't wrong. It says that Rabbi Akiva is the one who repackaged everything subsequently in Golus Edom. Again, that in him was Makuyim, says the Shlah, Va'ata Teshufenu Akev. He died, right? Because he was the Akev Akiva. But he was Meiser Nefesh for the door that's called Ikvasa, the Mashiach. Right? That we have to be Mamshech, the ore of Das, all the way down to the Akevayim, right? Down to the heels that touches earth, right? Down to the door that's called Ikvasa, the Mashiach. And that's the side, right? That the Zohar was Nizgala, went into Geniza, and was revealed in later Dars. And after that came the Ari. But ever since the Ari, the Bar Hilula, right, who was Nifter on Hey Av, right, the 5th month, the 5th day of the 5th month, that's Bechinas Hoid Shebahoid, Kayadua, right? Mamish like Bar Yochai Bizmano, right, because he was Mefar Sfun Ezor. This is the 5th day of the 5th month, Hoid Shebahoid. Right, that Tisha B'Av is called V'Hoidi Nefach Alai L'Mashches. Kol Hayom Dava, Oisias Hoid. Right, that's called that Hoidi Nefach L'Mashches. Right. But this is called to restore the glory. Right, it's up to us. Right, we're done, guys. Right, right. Fine. Okay, 1 minute. Right. We'll finish it. Right, that it's the schus of the Bar Hilula from the time that he was Nizgala, from the time he came to earth to be Megala Sfune Azar. From then onwards, everything came Ba'asgalia, right? That since then everyone's been working to be Mefarish Devarav, and it gave birth to the Gra and the Ramchal and the Chasidus and the work of everyone ever since then. If you Deutsch V'Tishkat, these different schools of thought is how to put it into Kalim. The Gra and the Ramchal put into Kalim Sichim, they said Hezberim. Chasidus put it into the Kalim of Avoda. They took the Yisar Zari Al Derech Avoda. That's all about internalizing that he triggered the final tikkun of putting Das into the Akevayim that touches earth, right? And it's dafka for us, the last door. We can't give up, right? The last door. Right, that's facing the goals. El Dvar Shadimar says this is a gift to the final door. Right, that it's our job to keep the process going. Right, we're the ones who are going to make the final connection between Das and Oretz. We who are closest to the earth, the Akevayim, we are mamish, down in the dirt. We're mamish ba'afra. But we're the ones that the door that we're ba'afra, shchinta ba'afra. We're the ones who are going to put the das into the earth. Shmi Mekuyim, b'schus the Bari Lud. There was dafka nifka in this man because he's the hagana v'hatzola of this, the countermeasure. It's going to get us out of Golus. That umola ha'oretz des Hashem k'mayim ha'mechasim b'chaim.
Can we do a zimmer?
Yeah.